your son.
Yeah.
And it was all weightlifting stuff.
All the way. Every night he pretty much is. He's like, Dad, who's your favorite bodybuilder?
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know. And then only one I know is Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So here, blow his mind tonight when you say, oh, I like the classic model C-Bum. Because he's the new bum. Yeah, because it's literally his kind of like moniker. I think is like Chase Bumgardner or something, Bumgardner. But they call him C-Bum. He's the new up and coming like bodybuilder. And to be completely frank, he's jacked. He's awesome.
Say, my son likes Rodney Coleman.
Have you seen Rodney Coleman? Poor Rodney Coleman.
My son pointed out, he's like, I really want to be a bodybuilder. And I'm like, son, come look at some pictures with me. And I said,
this is what happened.
This looks not good anymore. It's like, even when they were good, it didn't look good.
And here's the other thing is those guys are so dehydrated when they compete that their muscles freeze up. That's why they're all defined and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was 10-year kids, once again, I went in to say goodnight to your son. And he said, my dad and I do this every night. And then he started doing push-ups. And I said,
good for you, Jake. You doing push-ups?
Good for your dad, but I'm not partaking.
I say right now I'm doing back exercises. So
yes.
Here's what was really funny is as he was doing push-ups, he said, oh, hold on. And then he pulled out his Bible and put it on the floor. And he's like, I also read this when I do it. Just started doing
this is pretty much.
What is your son's a Christian bro?
He only does that when someone's visiting. Anytime I even get in there to ask him to pray, he's like,
I know.
Rolls off the bed dramatically.
He's like, let me look up where I am, and he flips to Songs of Solomon. He's like, this is where I'm at.
And you're like,
I was like,
I don't think that's where you're at, buddy.
It was really funny. As my wife is getting her ear talked off by your daughter.
Oh yeah. No, if you get my daughter going, she'll go, and then she'll sing.
Yep.
And eventually she'll fall asleep, and then she'll keep singing while she's sleeping. So.
It's also very tuney.
Well, both my kids are. They think it's the funniest thing, but it's not my fault. They were taught by other parties that will not be named that if you toot, you scare away the monsters. So every time they do it, they go, see, no more monsters, Dad.
Who did that? And with that, welcome to the Twaddling Along Podcast. The podcast where we neither confirm nor deny.
What was that?
What was that?
Sorry, it was like it was an inhale hiccup.
I'm your host, Dan McBride, here with my brothers and co-host, the hiccuping wonder one, Joshua.
What's up?
And Jacob.
I like to present myself as being one that does push-ups and reads scriptures at nighttime.
And me. Oh, wait, I already introduced myself.
And you.
This is going to be a rough one, people. I
it
can
is.
already tell.
Well, let's see.
It's
wait.
This is actually, I've actually got a lot of preparation.
Did you not remember last week?
Well,
I say, how much preparation did you get?
I did quite a bit, actually. I actually ended up rereading parts of Oliver Sacks' books.
Okay.
Like The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. Excellent book.
Because when I texted you guys earlier and asked when we were doing the podcast, it kind of seemed like we were forgetting that we were supposed to do a podcast.
No, I had remembered. I was more like, is this gonna actually happen? So no, I actually prepared quite a bit.
Oh, good.
So yeah, like I said, I read The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. I read a little bit of The Anthropologist on Mars, which is really good.
The Anthropologist on Mars?
Yeah, that's his other book.
I don't think I read that one.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I say The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. I had a whole course on that. So,
and then of course his famous Awakenings. I didn't reread it, but I went through some of it. I like Oliver Sacks.
I don't even know who the heck that is.
Why don't we begin with that? Because it's a good introduction as to what we are going to be talking about.
Robert Sacks. He's a guy.
Yes, but not Oliver Sacks. See, Oliver Sacks was a British neurologist and historian. He was a science writer.
Oh.
He is most known as kind of going into the, what's a good way of putting it?
Abnormal.
The odd side of the neurological realm.
So the psychedelics?
No.
Oh, dang.
No, not even. No, Joshua.
That's
wrong. No, he actually like made his name from something that's called encephalitis lethargica, which was a huge epidemic.
Isn't that a mosquito problem?
Actually,
I'm just kidding.
No,
it's because Danny's a mosquito guy. I just mentioned that.
I actually think it was.
Well, then points for me.
Let me see. I want to say that it had something to do. It was connected with the Spanish flu for a while, but then it became like an autoimmune thing. But then some people thought it was caused by some kind of transmission. I don't know if it was ever actually determined what caused it, because it kind of went away. It's kind of weird. It showed up and then it went away. And what it is, encephalitis lethargica is actually literally called the sleeping sickness or the sleepy sickness. People would actually go into like a locked in body syndrome where they couldn't move.
If they fell asleep?
But they were completely, permanently.
Just permanent.
But they were completely awake to what was going on around them. And he did some treatments with them and wrote a book called The Awakenings, which ended up being a feature film with Robert Williams and Robert De Niro.
Can I point out that that is a uber fear of mine?
Locked in syndrome?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine. Just the idea that you are completely aware.
You can't do anything but just mentally
scream.
Be aware.
You guys just need to promise me if for some odd reason that happens to me.
I'm pulling the plug.
Just kill me. Just pillow over my face. No, I need you to. It won't actually be killing me. It will be helping me.
I'll say, look, assisted suicide now. What I'll do is I'll be like, hey, Danny, maybe he could swim. Just give him a minute. There you go. Just give him a minute.
He just needed to be waked up. Anyway, so Oliver Sacks.
No, it does say. Where you pushing his gurney, Jake? Oh, I think he wanted to go down a few flights of stairs.
He needs his exercise. Kerthong. Anyways,
yes.
Oliver Sacks wrote another really good book called The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat, where he kind of went through and he talked about really interesting neurological disorders and mysteries of the brain and the perception and the memory. He went through a bunch of different case studies. He talked about Tourette syndrome. He talked about different forms of amnesia. He talked about a music teacher with visual agnosia, which we'll talk about what that means. Anyways, it got me thinking that it would be really interesting today to talk about some of the more bizarre neurological disorders and some things that can happen to you that will skew your even sense of reality. So I'm taking a little bit of this week from The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. I'm also taking it from Business Insider and some of their articles. And yeah, we're gonna get into it.
I want to start with a question. Was his wife a hat?
No.
Oh,
but one of his people actually did mistake his wife's head for a hat.
Oh,
and went to go and try to put the wife's head on his hat because he wasn't recognizing shapes anymore.
Oh,
it's the craziest thing.
Interesting. But, okay, I'm satisfied.
So are you guys ready to get spooked out? This is one of those, if you are a person who fears disease at all, hypochondria, maybe join us in 2 weeks and skip this one.
Well, I'll say this. I was on a phone call with our mother earlier, and I told her what we were going to be talking about, and she said, no, don't do that. And I said, why? And she said, because you're going to find out you have these.
And Josh is going to be like, I've got it.
So
everyone
just be prepared. I may have this.
Let's start with a little story.
Okay.
Mr. B was a 65-year-old retired teacher with no family history of mental illness when he suddenly began having sad moods, stopped being able to feel pleasure, slept and ate less, and developed feelings of worthlessness. He later started having delusions that his organs had stopped working and his house was going to fall down. After an attempted suicide, he started believing he was dead. He was suffering from a condition known as the Cotard's syndrome, or the walking corpse syndrome, in which a patient thinks he or she is dead. Counterintuitively, in more than half the cases, these patients also think that they are immortal. So they're both immortal and dead. Oh. Treatment for this condition can include antidepressants, antipsychotic drugs, or electroconvulsive therapy.
Shocking people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Cotard syndrome. I was actually going to look it up because there's a really interesting article about like where it actually came from.
Hey,
it's
Jake,
rare.
You may have this because they think that they're missing part of their organs.
Well, if I am, completely hallucinating my entire last year of my life, then yeah, I guess I could have that.
I really like the idea that in Cotard's delusion or the walking corpse syndrome, like 50% of people are like, I'm putrefying, I'm dead, I'm dying. And the other 55% are like,
I am
immortal.
I wonder, do you know that? Have you seen the picture of that one guy who's de-aged himself?
Oh, yeah.
The past couple years?
The tech dude. Yeah.
I wonder if he has this.
I don't know.
Which guy?
It's the guy who's like de-aged himself. Like
the
spent
billionaire?
a ton of money and now he looks younger than he did several years ago.
He does not look younger than he does. Do you want to know what he looks like? He looks like a vampire. And I'm straight up like
he's in denial.
Like it's
Well, that's what I'm saying. Isn't that the walking corpse?
Yeah,
syndrome?
Brian Johnson is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but he freaks me out. Sorry, Brian. You're probably a halfway decent fella.
But you're probably a vampire and I have garlic at the ready.
He was I want to say that he grew up in Utah.
Oh, did he really? That's even worse.
Yeah, I want to say
that's worse.
Let's be honest. He probably
born
grew up in
Provo,
Layton.
Utah, and raised in neighboring Springville.
Well, that makes sense.
Graduated Bachelor of Arts in International Studies from Brigham Young University. Went to Ecuador on his mission.
Oh my!
So he's one of us, gentlemen. How does that make everybody feel?
No, wait, pause. We're from the North Valley. He's from Happy Valley that are, we don't talk about.
We don't talk about
We love you. Keep listening to our podcast.
Keep listening.
Keep listening, but...
Keep listening.
We don't know.
Here we go, listening away.
So going back to Cotard syndrome.
Yep.
Just a couple of the ways that it actually manifests. It goes through 3 distinct stages. The first one is the germination stage, which is hypochondria, major hypochondria, and psychotic depression, which I didn't realize was different than major depression, but it is a different thing. Jake, do you know what psychotic depression is? You're the master over here of these kind of things.
Put me on the spot. Here,
come on, Jake.
I know. Here, I need to look it up.
Well, Jake's
and then I can
looking up
explain
what psychotic depression is. The second stage is what's called the blooming stage. Full development of the syndrome and delusions of negation.
Oh, okay.
And then the third stage, chronic stage, continued severe delusions, along with chronic psychiatric depression, which is different than psychotic depression. Yeah, there you go. Big distorted reality thing.
And I mean, and that's why I was curious about the psychotic depression. I'm like, I thought psychotic depression was just a form of major depression. And it kind of is. It's a form of depression, but with psychotic features. So those psychotic features include hallucinations, delusions, and so you have extreme feelings, such as like you'll have extreme feelings of loss about something. You'll have extreme feelings of guilt about something that you can't quite put into reality. You're like, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I'm feeling it about something that might not even be real.
Ugh.
Maybe I have it.
Another case study. A patient's syndrome occurred in the context of more general feelings of unreality and of being dead in January 1990 after his discharge from a hospital in Edinburgh. Beautiful city, by the way. Mm-hmm. Love me some Edinburgh. His mother took him to South Africa. He was convinced that he had been taken to hell, which was confirmed by the heat, and that he had died of sepsis, which had been a risk early in his recovery, or perhaps from AIDS, because he had read a story about someone with AIDS who died from sepsis, or from an overdose of a yellow fever injection. He thought he had borrowed his mother's spirit to show him around hell, and that she was still asleep in Scotland.
This poor guy.
That is quite the thought process there.
Poor South Africans, man. He was walking around and being like, what did you do to get here? Poor guy.
There's a couple of things that can cause it. First one, traumatic brain injury. That's kind of a pretty common thing that you'll see pop up. Damaged cerebral hemisphere, frontal lobe, different things like that. But there are also times it just kind of
just happens.
Pops up. Which is, you know.
There's reason it pops up, people. It doesn't just randomly pop up. There's reasons behind
Chemical, yeah.
No, it could just happen. Just kidding. I don't know. That's probably not true.
It is sometimes associated with schizophrenia.
It is.
And so schizophrenic people sometimes get to the point that they are diagnosed with Cotard's syndrome. Not everyone, but sometimes it leads to something similar.
Yikes. Should we move on to the next one?
Now, I just want to say it's really scary because they say people with migraines might lead to this. I get migraines often.
See, like,
am I dead?
By the time this is done, Josh is going to be like, I have everything.
I'm pretty sure I am psychotically depressed and have migraines, so I'm practically there.
Let's talk about the second neurological thing, prosopagnosia. This is where people can't remember other people's faces. Now, that seems pretty common, actually, and it is common. It's actually pretty darn common. As a matter of fact, Oliver Sacks himself had prosopagnosia, and I've known several people with prosopagnosia.
Say it again.
Prosopagnosia. Good heavens to Betsy. And that's just the idea that, like, you can't recognize faces easily. Meaning, like, if you were in a crowd with a bunch of people, you couldn't readily find your loved one just based off of their face.
Oh, okay.
So, prosopagnosia comes from, where did it go? There we go. The word breakdown. Prosopone means face and agnosia means not knowing. So literally the absence of being able to tell a face. However, in The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat, that's actually where the title comes from, is a gentleman who had severe prosopagnosia. And in this severe cases, he couldn't recognize familiar faces. Yes, that's true, but he also couldn't tell the difference between a face and an object. Oh. So when he went to go and grab his hat, he grabbed his wife's hair instead and tried to put it on. And what's funny is in the actual story, he talks about that, like, it took the guy a second to realize that he was doing anything wrong. You'd think that his wife screaming would do something, but he was kind of like,
Well, that's just it. His wife was so used to the bizarre behavior that she actually didn't do anything. She just sat still.
Pretty darn common with people who have a stroke. About 2.5% of the people, though, can be born with it. And it is common enough that it is known as the cognitive face perception disorder, which is kind of interesting. But there's a bunch of different kinds. There's what's called the apperceptive prosopagnosia, which is just you have a hard time to kind of tell the difference between faces. There's associative prosopagnosia, which is acquired over time, developmental, which is caused by other things. The prognosis is kind of like, well, if you can't figure it out, then
remember names.
Yep. Try to work with it.
Hey, Danny, not to tie this back to mosquitoes, but it is also caused sometimes by encephalitis.
Oh dear.
There you go.
What kind of does it say? What kind of encephalitis?
It says encephalitis.
Well, encephalitis just means the swelling of the brain. So.
Well, mosquitoes.
But that's true. Mosquitoes do carry encephalitis-style diseases. So, darn mosquitoes.
Shout out to Ken Minson. He taught me that word.
Good old Ken Minson. He's our grandfather.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
The Dr. P, who's in the Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat, the guy who couldn't recognize faces, he could readily recognize voices. He Smells were a really big thing for him. His recognition of pictures of his family and friends appeared to be based on like super specific features. So, for example, he would like memorize that his brother had a big jaw. And so that he would go into a picture and be able to pull his brother out because of the jaw. it's actually prosopagnosia was crucial in the development of face perception, specifically in babies. Babies, they find, have face perception incredibly early, and they can actually track that face perception really early with infants. And it's one of the first signs of autism is if there isn't readily obvious facial perception. Yep.
So I have a question. So because they don't recognize faces, has there been studies that like there are other senses that can help them recognize heighten?
I don't know.
Just like how sometimes when blind people, their hearing is more attuned, or touch or things like that.
So I know there's a bunch of famous people that have it, and one of the most famous people that has it, who's talked about it a little bit, is Stephen Fry. And Stephen Fry actually says that that's why his ability with words was so heightened, because he didn't recognize people readily. And so he started relying more on like the written word or the spoken word. And that's how he would recognize people. I know that Alan Alda also said something along the same lines. Like it made him a better actor because he had to focus more on like the craft of acting instead of like the perception of people's faces. Jane Goodall said that she didn't have it for humans, but she
had it for monkeys.
But she could recognize monkeys things. Yeah.
Oh, Brad Pitt
was born with that.
Victoria, not Queen Victoria, but Princess Victoria of Sweden.
And Steve Wozniak. Now, once again, this is a really wide thing. So it can go as little as, I didn't recognize your face, but now I do too. Wait, there's a difference between a pumpkin and a face? I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
what's fun with this is when it gets bad enough, they can look in the mirror and not recognize themselves.
Oh my gosh.
How creepy would that be?
Be like, who is that? It's like,
actually, it'd probably be awesome because they'd be like, look who's that handsome fellow over there.
It's just like, and we'll have another podcast about this because it was requested, but out of body experiences is in like, where you're looking down, you're like, who's that guy? Like, or who's that woman? When in reality, it's you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, ready for the next one?
Yep.
Mirror touch synesthesia.
Mirror touch.
Synesthesia. This is where, I'll give you a little background. On an episode of an NPR show, Invisibilia, which I had never heard of, and I actually listened to it, a woman who wished to remain anonymous reported that when she sees people being hugged, she feels like she's getting a hug herself. However, when she sees someone get hurt, she feels pain in the same places they do. And she can watch people eat she can't watch people eat because she feels like they're shoving food in her mouth. Another person by the name of Amanda suffers from the rare condition called mirror touch synesthesia that makes her able to physically feel what others around her are feeling. Another name for it is, I think they call it ultimate empath. Is what it's called. Just the idea that you literally, like, your body is reacting as if a physical sensation is happening to it.
So for all, and I'm not downplaying this condition, but for all those husbands who have sympathetic pains during pregnancy, I'm just kidding.
Actually, you're probably not too far from the truth, because the sensation of phantom limbs is actually, it's kind of based on the same idea that your brain can actually pick up signals and you can react as if something is actually happening to you when it's really not.
I have phantom pains.
Neurons.
Yeah, mirrored neurons. Talk about that, Jake.
It's just that when your brain mimics the physical condition that you see, they say it's a very profound kind of idea of empathy, where it's like what you see is what you experience. So it's just one of those things where, like, when you see a movie and it has a very happy ending,
you're happy.
You feel that when you see like the hero become triumphant, you feel triumphant. Like that emotion is something that your brain is trying to mimic. So
every time I've watched Lords of the Rings and Sam was carrying Frodo up Mount Doom and I felt that I could conquer any mountain, is that?
I mean, in a way. So it's it's one of those things where when you experience it, it also can potentially release such, neurotransmitters as oxytocin and things like that. So
Yep, there's some, you can have some things happen to you without you being around. We'll just leave it at that.
empathetic high.
Empathetic high. It's really interesting because it's also associated with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. A lot of
interesting.
and they don't really know why that is the case. Just someone that I found in synesthesia, because synesthesia itself is super interesting. It would be kind of fun to actually go into synesthesia, like people who see numbers or colors when they're associating with like music and everything like that. But this one was really interesting. With MTS, which is the shorthand for mirror touch synesthesia, there is normally a visual trigger, existence of active and well-developed mirror neurons, like Jake was just talking about, and in many cases, a hyper-empathetic element. It sounds like you don't have the hyper-empathy, and there isn't really anything to be done with the mirror neuron. Sorry, this is not getting to the story. I'm 47. And only learned this year that I have MTS with hyperempathy, as well as pain empathy. I have issues with seeing people get hurt among things. Throughout my 20s and 30s, I could only watch comedies and nothing else. If I ever watched a show, even like Rambo, which is so over the top, I could literally feel bullets entering my body.
Oh my gosh.
Over the years, I've been able to expand my appreciation for other genres by refocusing my attention on these. For example, since I got my English degree and learned that the analysis was one of my strengths, I watch TV movies with the analytical lens and it doesn't trigger my experience. But yeah, mirror touch synesthesia.
So can you have the opposite effect? So can you have like, instead of empathy, could you have like
Apathy?
if you're hurting somebody, you feel joy?
Yes.
It's
Sociopathy.
Okay.
Sociopath. It's kind of
Well, that's what I was thinking. Because when I listen to like serial killers and stuff, yeah, they're psychopaths.
yeah. That and there's a lot of reasons for that, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they do have reduced mirror system activation, which means that you have less of like emotional reactions and things around you, and that's associated with autism.
Gotcha.
so this is gonna apply to Josh a lot more. Often, mirror neurons and some of the activity that happens with it, and the extremes that sometimes people feel, it's genetic. So what we had a grandpa who could cry over anything. He cried over a beer commercial because there was a horse and a dog.
And it was a Clydesdale. It was the baby Clydesdale.
And I think, Danny, you just proved Jake's point.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because you can see it. I'm an emotional fellow. Josh, explain your emotions when you come across something that
Josh
you find.
has to explain it.
Like my emotions?
Yeah.
I consider myself a sympathetic crier. So if I see or hear or feel or walk or anything, I cry. So yeah, I have big emotions. I wear them on my shoulders and sleeves, and my heart is exposed.
Oh, I mean, I'm bad too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
mine-
Danny, as you get older.
Most of mine isn't associated necessarily with people. It's associated with movies, which is weird. Like, I get super teary over some movies and commercials.
I will say this, Up. I can't watch Up.
Oh, that was just...
But here I am. I can't watch Up, but it was the theme of my wedding.
It was a theme.
It was the theme of your wedding. We'll just skip the first part.
Your wife did it on purpose.
My wife did do it on purpose. She said, "This is how you'll feel if you leave me."
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Empathy itself is kind of a fun thing to get down into because there is varying levels of empathy, and you can actually train your empathy. So, and that's one of the things that it talks about here is although nobody can actually probably get to a point where they have like full mirror touch synesthesia, you can train yourself to be more empathetic and build these mirror neurons. It is something that you can kind of work on. Yes, it's pretty heavily associated with, your genetics, but it is something that you can actually kind of build. And you can do the opposite. If you're having over empathetic like reactions to something, you can actually learn to kind of turn off your mirror neurons.
No. So we have big genetics with emotions.
Yeah, we do.
Big time.
We are criers. Okay. This one is creepy. This one freaks me out really bad. The Capgras delusion.
Capgras.
People with this condition think their loved ones have been replaced by an imposter.
Oh.
This is another schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm. After giving birth, a 36-year-old woman developed the delusion that her son and other family members had been replaced by imposters. The delusion persisted for 5 years, and every treatment doctors tried failed. Finally, the woman was given electroconvulsive therapy, in which electrical shocks are passed through the brain to induce a seizure, and her psychiatric symptoms subsided.
Oh my gosh. There was a famous guy who was a mathematician who had schizophrenia.
A Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
He kind of had something similar to this. Because didn't he believe that he was being tracked by military and other stuff like that?
Yeah, Capgras is really, really specific, though. I mean,
okay.
it is like you would walk in and see your wife, and you are utterly convinced
That's not your wife.
that is not your wife.
Oh, I see.
So
It's also common in people with dementia.
specifically Lewy body dementia. Mhm.
Interesting.
Very, very sad. It has also been reported and associated with people with diabetes, hypothyroidism, and migraine attacks.
And sometimes is temporarily induced a healthy subject by administration of ketamine.
Yep. Occurs a lot more in women. And it's specifically associated with a...
I'm just going to be sitting there one time. My wife's going to come and be like, "You're not Jake."
It's really heavily associated with traumatic births or postpartum depression. So
That makes sense.
yeah, but it's a creepy one. I don't like the thought of like
There's no cure.
There, I say with the postpartum stuff, sometimes that's where the wife sees the baby but doesn't believe the baby is hers.
yeah. Do you think that's where some of like the weird, like the changeling and everything came from? I know it's more associated, they think now, with like them trying to explain like special needs children at the time, but
It could. I mean,
Absolutely.
no, it wouldn't shock me by any means.
okay, you guys ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
The alien hand syndrome.
Ooh.
Some people are convinced that their hand doesn't belong to them. An 82-year-old woman suffered a stroke, and upon recovering about 6 weeks later, she reported that her left arm did not belong to her. Instead, she was convinced the limb belonged to her brother, who had been with her when she experienced the stroke. She felt as if the arm would not do what she wanted it to do. This is a case of the alien hand syndrome, a rare neurological disorder where a person's limb moves without their control, making them feel it does not belong to them. Sometimes the patient may reach for objects with alien hands and use their healthy hand to restrain it. The condition may be caused when the connections between the two brain hemispheres are severed, but can also happen when the stroke or other brain injury.
Callosum.
Talk about corpus callosum, Jake.
That's the pathway between your two brain hemispheres.
So here's the crazy thing that I learned through Mr. Oliver Sacks. If you sever the corpus callosum, you in essence end up with two different brains. And these two different brains are actually functioning completely independently without.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't the brain you can get rid of technically? I mean, you're not supposed to, but like you could live with only half a brain.
There's some people only have half a brain form. That's another disease we can talk about, and that one's crazy.
Now, I just want to point out that this disease is biblical.
It's biblical, you say?
Yep. Jesus talks about how you should know your right hand should know what your left hand is doing, and left hand should know what your right. So basically, he was describing this. If you have this, shoot, repent.
So...
You're right.
There
I'm
you
just
go.
kidding.
Do you remember our Stonewall
Jackson
discussion?
Yes.
And how his Rand just would randomly raise
Yes.
in the middle of the stuff?
Yes.
This is sometimes also if someone has this particular condition, like they'll just be sitting there and all of a sudden their arm will just kind of raise up. And they'll be like, that wasn't me. And they'll just stay up.
my
So,
gosh.
kind of makes you wonder.
Stonewall.
It gets even crazier than that. There is sometimes where, like, so your right hand and your left hand are controlled by different parts of the hemisphere of the brain most of the time. The brain is weird. There's so many weird things that happen, but right hemisphere normally controls the left hand, and the left hemisphere normally controls the right hand. Is kind of how it's supposed to be done. Is it your left hemisphere, Jake, that's more dominant in language? One of the sides of your hemispheres are actually more dominant in language. It's kind of where your speech comes from. It's where you can kind of understand language and everything like that.
It's creative. Is it the creative
Am I wrong?
side?
I have to look up really quick. It's been so long that I've kind of forgotten.
But there are stories of this alien hand syndrome where people will quite literally, not just raising hands, their left hand will start doing a task and they'll be completely unaware about it.
Okay, here it is. So the left brain is dominant for language comprehension, speech production, analytical thinking, and logical processing, where the right hemisphere is more for spatial abilities, artistic musical skills, intuitive thinking, facial recognition, and processing emotions.
So one of the stories that I was reading, and this wasn't in Oliver Sacks, this was just kind of perusing as I was prepping for this, is a lady who had this happen to her because she had a stroke. And she was talking with her husband and looked down, and her hand was writing answers to the husband's questions. Her left hand was writing answers to the questions without her knowing. And the answers that her left hand was giving was different than the actual things that she was talking to her husband about.
Because it was a different analytical and creative.
It was just a very strange kind of separation. And she was left-handed in life, and she was always concerned, and she talks about this, she was concerned that the part that was speaking wasn't actually her real self anymore.
Oh, that it was a
alien. Well, not an alien necessarily, but like literally that she had lost a part of her brain, and the brain that was more dominantly her was gone. And so the person that was talking and communicating with people wasn't actually her anymore. It's really weird, but I was gonna say it's all part of the same kind of syndrome.
Only contained in one half of your frontal lobe?
No, I think it's your whole brain.
Yeah. I was gonna say, right?
Okay. I mean, the whole brain makes up. There's a lot of discussion on that one.
Personality.
Yeah.
Where does your personality come from?
Mm-hmm.
Are we a two-brain creature?
Is emotion truly something we can define?
Yeah.
Well, the guy that got shot through the head with the train spike,
railroad spike,
yeah,
and he has his personality completely changed.
Railroad rod?
Yep. No, it was the rod to pack the gunpowder.
Yeah, that knocked out his inhibition, so he got a lot more angry.
Yep, but he
more.
He recovered later.
Not really.
I wouldn't say recovered. I think the way that they describe it is that he developed coping mechanisms to allow him to be part of society.
Gotcha.
But they said that he was never really the same personality wise.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you have a rod through your skull, I mean, come on.
Alien hand syndrome can get creepy enough that you can literally fight with yourself.
Where kill you?
Stop hitting yourself.
There are horror stories of like this happening. I doubt that it would be, but there's only actually been about 4 dozen cases that have been actually reported. So it's really, really hard to kind of tell what is, folklore about this and what is not. But yeah, it's a creepy one.
I could see it though, because, I have ADHD for all those who didn't know that through this podcast. And like, you'll be bouncing your foot and someone will ask like, will someone stop bouncing? And you'll be like, yeah, that's kind of annoying. And not realize it's you.
It's you.
Yeah. So I can get that.
You ready for this one? This is another one that kind of creeps me out because it goes to show you that our perception of the world is not necessarily what it is. Hemispatial neglect. In essence, half of your world is invisible. Now, let me explain what that means. Some people may start to ignore half their world. For example, these patients may neglect half of the food on their plate despite still being hungry, or they may draw a clock face showing only the numbers 12 through 6. Literally, it's not that they don't see it. It's that they don't even recognize that it's there.
So their brain does not compute.
Yes.
That's creepy.
They can no longer see or process information received from the side of the body where normally the brain injury happens. This is really common with brain injury people. They just completely lose awareness. And so like you have people that will watch a movie but only see like half the movie. And the weird thing is that it doesn't necessarily even like, it doesn't matter where the perception is in like the real world. So even if I was sitting like to the side and only being able to see the TV with just one eye, I still would only be able to interpret half of the things that are happening on the TV.
So it may not be necessarily that like, if I look forward and there's two things here, it's not necessarily that I don't see one thing or the other. It's just, I don't interpret.
You don't interpret it. Like
or understand.
It literally to you does not exist.
Oh my God.
Like you put on one shoe in the morning, but you don't even recognize that you have another foot or a shoe to put on. It's a really weird one. It is incredibly rare. Very, very, very rare. But just the idea of that it could happen makes me scared to go to bed at night.
It's a lot more common in people that have right side hemisphere dominance.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What's right side? Analytical?
The right side is over spatial awareness.
Is that analytical?
So, I want to say that was intuitive. Yeah, intuitive.
Oh, crap.
All right, here's a fun one. We'll move on to one that is a little controversial because when it first got introduced, a lot of people thought it was rare, and it's turning out that it's not as rare as what people think. Aphantasia.
Ooh.
People with a condition where they can't picture things in their mind.
Oh.
Now, what I mean by like it's controversial is when this was first introduced, people would bring it up and be like, isn't it weird that there are some people that can't picture things in your mind? And other people would be like, I don't even know what you mean. What are you talking about? Can't picture something in your mind. They'll be like, well, like picture an apple. And they'll be like, what do you mean picture an apple? Like, well, can't you see the apple in your brain? And it's actually kind of a pretty common thing where there's people that cannot actually like picture something in their head. They know intuitively what that thing is, but they don't picture it in their head.
I think I have a little bit of this.
Do you?
To be honest, I think because looking at there's different like levels per se. I think I have like I'm kind of in the middle where I cannot like truly define an object, but I can make up somewhat of the object.
Sure. So there's a really famous person who had this after a pretty traumatic thing that happened to him.
Picasso.
Richard Hammond from Top Gear.
Yeah.
After he had his famous wreck. So he's had
first one.
He's had two big wrecks, but the big famous wreck where he crashed the Formula One car and Dingwall almost died. He reported that for a long time, his imagination just disappeared. He literally couldn't picture anything in his brain, which for him, it kind of drove him nuts because that was what he was. But he lost his imagination and it kind of slowly came back, he said. But the aphantasia is something that you can actually be born with, or you can lose the ability as things go by later in life. Once again, this is the aphantasia is from the Greek word for imagination. It's not a recognized neurological condition. So it's not actually like something where they say, oh, this is a condition, because originally they thought it was rare and now it's pretty darn common.
So do you guys, if I say, picture a rose, can you like completely form a rose in your mind?
Yes.
I can't. I can maybe picture a 2D image of a rose, but I can't create a realistic picture. So
that's actually a really interesting thing. So there is a scale. There is an aphantasia scale that you can actually look online to look at, where there is like a test from 1 to 5 where if someone says picture a apple, one would be I picture the apple perfectly. 2 would be it's realistic and reasonably vivid. 3 would be it's moderately realistic, more like a 2D image. 1 is it's super dim and vague. And then 5 is people just don't even understand what that even means. Like, what does it mean to?
So for me, if I daydream, I could picture things.
Sure.
But if someone asks me, hey, create this image in your mind, I can't do it.
Well, I little personal, and hopefully she doesn't mind because we've talked about it a lot, but my wife has aphantasia. Like it's really, really difficult for her to picture something in her head. And so like reading for her is not quite as enjoyable because it's the words and she understands it and she can get through it and she enjoys it, but she doesn't paint a picture in her head with the words that are actually being said. And it's something it was funny because we talked to her entire family about it, and it was a lot of her family was like, I don't like, what do you mean picture something? You can't picture anything in your head. That's not how it works. And the rest of us were like, no, you can. Like, but what's interesting is people with aphantasia don't lose the ability to dream.
See, and that's what I kind of say is when I daydream, if I like just kind of doze, I could form, whatever.
But their vividity, I don't know if you want to call it that, how vivid their dreams are affected. Yeah,
it can be affected. But I was reading something that said like if someone had true aphantasia where they lost the ability later in life, but their dreams became more vivid, which was weird.
Say normal, it's the opposite.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. It's not common. Like most of the time, like you actually have less vivid dreams, but
because some of the other symptoms are like that you not only have less vivid dreams, but I mean that's where your facial recognition becomes a little bit more difficult because you're having a hard time picturing people's faces in your head.
See, and also I have that. So when I dream, I don't dream with faces. Like
that's crazy.
That I could see, or like I can see the person, and I could tell you who the person is, but the face is unrecognizable.
That's interesting.
It also affects the memory, your autobiographical memory, as I would say.
See, which is weird because I have very vivid, like pretty darn vivid when it comes on the scale, and yet my name recognition, like the word recognition for a person's name, is so hard for me and has been my entire life. I can tell you like details of the person's face and details about their entire life, but like the name popping up were hard for me. I wonder what that's called. Dementia? Early onset Alzheimer's since I was 3 years old.
More like normal.
Oh, I like being normal. Okay, here's one. The Jerusalem syndrome.
Jerusalem, if I bring you.
So do you know what's funny? I just watched the Simpsons episode with this.
The Jerusalem syndrome?
Yep. Like literally I just watched this today and I didn't. Had nothing to do with it.
A healthy German man came to Jerusalem to study Judaism in search for the one true religion, but he ended up having a psychotic episode in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a church built on the site where Jesus is thought to have been crucified. According to the researchers, this man may have suffered from Jerusalem syndrome, a phenomenon in which visitors to a holy city develop religious delusions and psychotic ideas.
In other words, they kind of think they've become a messiah of sorts.
They do.
And do you know what's funny is that I also watch a lot of cult stuff just for fun. And a lot of that happens with cult leaders to begin with is they go and then that's when they receive their calling or something.
It is very common for people who have near-death experiences. A lot of times people with near-death experiences have something similar to the Jerusalem complex where they come back with like almost like a psychotic grandeur.
Yeah.
This is closely associated with another syndrome called the Paris syndrome. Anybody heard of this one?
Mm-mm.
This one's a fun one. A severe form of culture shock causing extreme disappointment, anxiety, and physical symptoms, including but not limited to dizziness, rapid heart rate, and hallucinations.
I just love the severe disappointment.
So this is what's funny. It's predominantly suffered by Japanese visitors to Paris who find out that Paris does not match their highly romanticized expectations and become so distraught by it that they actually get physically ill.
So the moral of the story is don't go to Paris.
probably
To be honest, I wouldn't go to
especially
Paris.
if you're from Japan and have an idealized
I
version
guess if
of
you
it.
want to go see the Louvre and the tower and maybe eat
just
some bread.
Just go to
What
Vegas.
about the Arc de Triomphe?
Arc de Triomphe?
The
Nah.
Arc de Triomphe.
We're building one in
Oh yeah, the Trump
capital.
Yeah,
we
there
can
you go.
see it from afar. As they have cars just going around it.
That's true.
I can just go on Google Earth.
They've reported a lot of people, especially in Israel. Psychiatrists report in 2000 said 1,200 tourists had been admitted to the city's mental health care center with severe Jerusalem-generated mental problems.
I love that this still is not recognized as an official clinical disorder yet.
No, it is not.
But
No.
it is acknowledged to be a real temporary syndrome.
A real temporary syndrome.
Now, I have a question.
I wonder if I had Scottish syndrome. What is it called? Scottish syndrome.
Did you have the Edinburgh
Yeah, I stepped.
syndrome?
So we're just going to jump right into this one. The foreign accent syndrome.
Oh.
No comment.
Sometimes people having a stroke can make some people speak in foreign accents. The most famous one is the Irish woman who had a stroke and then all of a sudden came out sounding like she was French. Or an even more unfortunate one, a lady who had a traumatic brain injury who was from England who came out speaking like she was a Chinese tourist. And
I've heard
I
of
don't know
that
if
one.
you've ever seen the video.
It is so... I laugh at it, but it's sad.
It is sad because she sounds so racist.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it doesn't make you suddenly proficient in that language.
No. You don't even know the language.
What's the syndrome where you copycat accents?
Oh.
Because I have that one. Where someone will be talking to me in another accent and I respond in their accent.
Which is not good, Josh.
I know.
It's called linguistic convergence or mirroring.
Yeah, I was about to say it was something with mirrors. So
Yep, linguistic mirroring.
For example, I lived in Canada for a while, and if you ask any of my companions or anybody, after they got back, they didn't have any lick of accent. They still had the accent from where they came from. Me, on the other hand, I had a dream to have a Canadian accent, and so I'd mimic people.
And Josh still will say things in a Canadian accent.
Yep.
Or Indian, or...
No, so here's the really interesting thing. They have found that people who mimic language are probably either incredibly empathetic, which we already talked about. We're pretty empathetic in some ways, or have ADHD.
Oh, freak.
It's a way
That's
to
strike three.
Way to focus.
Well, not a way to focus, but a way to navigate social interactions.
And
Because they don't have the not the cognitive level, but they don't have the attention level to be able to have other empathetic things.
I'll tell you, it's funny that you bring that up because for me, when I hear a different accent, let's say a thick Scottish brogue, and when they first start talking, you can't understand a word they're saying. But if I mimic them in my mind, I could start understanding what they're saying. And so it's almost an attempt to me of interpreting stuff like that. So I lived in a area that was predominantly Indian, as in people from India, and there are moments where they get talking really fast. You can't understand their English. And so that's how I learned the Indian accent is so to help me understand what they were saying.
Which I think, like I said, that's a big part of the social mirroring.
Josh is really good at his Indian accent.
I will not do it on this podcast.
You should not.
No, we should not. But
It's pretty good.
Let's just say I've received a few scam calls and I return the favor.
And then they'll probably try to speak Hindi to you, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. The very last one, and this is the one that I'm going to end on because this is something that I think that several people that I know have actually reported having this, at least temporarily. The exploding head syndrome.
Oh, I thought you were going to say exploding diarrhea.
No, Joshua, I wasn't. We almost,
We almost made it.
almost made it all the way through without
He
some potty
couldn't
humor. You
do
couldn't
Nope.
Help yourself.
Couldn't.
A 57-year-old Indian man saw doctors complaining that 4 times over the past 2 years, he was awoken from sleep by a flashing sound on the right side of his head, which he described as explosions in my head. This is a very real condition known as exploding head syndrome. People with this rare problem perceive a loud bang like a bomb exploding, a gunshot, or some other deafening noise that seems to originate inside their own head. It doesn't cause any pain, swelling, there's no physical discomfort, there's no signs of anything inside. Experts don't know what causes it, but stress and fatigue seem to play a role. It is not known how common this disorder is, but some studies suggest it may be common in college student age people or people under severe stress. Now I'm going to ask this question.
Yes.
Have you guys ever had something like this happen?
If you're resulting into is it the falling feeling when you're trying to go to sleep?
No, that's the hypnagogic.
Because I have that.
What is that, Jake?
Almost every night.
Hypnagogic something.
But yes,
We'll go with that.
All of these, all of the symptoms I am reading, yes.
No, this is something that I've only had once or twice in my life that I can remember. And it has always been when I'm under severe stress or super sleep deprived. And I will be on the verge of sleep and it will literally sound like there is a large bang. And I know that it's kind of happening inside my head. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it literally wakes me up. And every single time, we've already talked about how we're fatalistic. And I'm like, well, this is
we're
it.
dead.
I'm dying.
That's my stroke.
Put yourself in the right position.
My brain's exploding.
My time has come.
But no, this is something that I have experienced myself.
I have to.
And it is something that I think is far more common than people realize. I do think it has something to do with the hypnagogic jerk is what it's called.
Yeah, hypnic jerks.
Yep. Which is kind of where you're between the thresholds of consciousness. You're between your consciousness and then your sleeping REM or you're going into sleep. And it's maybe a way for your body to react as you are under a lot of stress. It's trying to keep you from sleeping. Why your body would do that, I don't know, but maybe it's just the stress levels that, are just coursing through your brains like crazy. They don't know. There really isn't a good explanation as to what this happened or why this happens, but it is, although they say it's rare in this article, I seem to every person that I talk to has had something like this happen to them. So,
well, the few causes that they think, make this occur: stress, anxiety, emotional distress. Check. Extreme tiredness or exhaustion. Check. Changes to sleep schedules. Check. Sudden withdrawal from certain medications such as SSRIs. Check. I think I have this.
So let's review.
You have it.
Let's review all the things that Josh has.
Everything.
Everything.
So I actually had this when I was younger.
Did you?
You have the explosions?
No, so I had the intense electrical buzzing, but I would get this wah, 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 and it would last for about 5 minutes with flashes.
Oh my gosh.
And I had it from about the time I was 6 until I was 11.
Really?
But it was persistent. I had it almost every night.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. It was,
no wonder you had sleep issues when you were in your teenage years.
You
were probably terrified of being flashed.
But yeah, I can still remember falling asleep in our bedroom upstairs. I can remember trying to fall asleep and getting that persistently awesome. Persistently all the time.
Really?
So it was just, and that's just, I almost got used to it, but at the same time, I would stress because I knew it was going to happen. And
do you think the stressing was what's causing it?
Probably it was probably my own.
It probably didn't help that we watched movies until we'd go to bed.
So it actually did the opposite. Watching the movies actually helped me.
Really?
Yep.
Kind of took you away from
it kind of stopped
the Shanghai Noon where they're shooting and banging.
Shanghai Nights.
Yep.
Shrek 2. Yeah, no, it was I had some crazy stuff with that.
Interesting.
But I would have weird things like that all the time. Man, if we want to go into some of the dreams I had then too, that's when I saw clips of the stupid AI, artificial intelligence with
man.
Osmond, what's his name?
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment.
Oh my gosh. That thing messed me up
That
as a kid.
That show was purported to be kind of a family adventure show.
No.
And it was not.
No,
It was a messed up show.
I watched the first little bit, and then when he got left,
The Blue Angel. Ooh.
yeah, I went back, and then I came out when he found the camp with all the other androids. And then I went to bed, and then came out when they were killing
the other
the
androids.
androids. And then I went to bed, and then I came back out when the stupid whatever the super evolved species was.
Yeah.
But that
What the freak? I've never heard of
messed
this.
me up.
There's probably a reason I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of AI?
Uh-uh.
Oh man, it's
The dreams I had after that, but after that too, again, like it
Thingy.
almost intensified. Yeah, how bad that was.
I wonder if this could also be associated with like PTSD.
probably. I mean, it's one of those things that I think that to end it, because we are out of time and we should end it. The brain is a beautiful, weird, miraculous, wonderful thing. It's the only. I was reading something. It might even have been Oliver Sacks that said it was the only organ that named itself. And yet we know.
True.
And yet, in reality,
We know
even
nothing.
with all of the advanced science that is going on, we really are just barely scratching the surface as to why the brain does anything at all. You know, all of these neurological disorders that we talk about today, a lot of them are very rare, and therefore we don't have time to study them. And neurologists don't have the kind of capability to study them in a proper form, and so it's kind of a mystery as to why they're happening. We can suppose, we can make,
We try to find
guesses,
a lot of correlations.
we can build hypotheses about this, but it's just a weird thing, and it's just trapped inside our heads. And
It's scary.
not only that, there could be two independent parts of our brain that with one little sever in the middle, all of a sudden there's essentially
Two of us.
two creatures living inside you.
I wonder if that's the multiple personality disorder. A similar.
Hasn't that been proven that it's like not only like rare, but it might be impossible, the multiple personality disorder?
It depends on who you talk
Yeah,
to.
I can't remember anything. Anyways, thank you all for joining us this week. We are off next week. Thank you for joining us. Speaking of neurological disorders that are happening right for us. Thank you for joining us this week. I did it again. Thank you
literally just did
for joining us this week.
You're welcome.
Wow.
We got to enunciate our
We are
words.
having some problems over here. We are off next week. We will be back the following week with me doing history.
History.
And then Jake doing paranormal.
Oh. I have to do paranormal again.
Hey,
Yeah.
we didn't really have a paranormal week last week. It was more like
We don't know what it was.
It was described to me as this: chaos.
paranormal.
But after listening to it, it wasn't as bad as I felt, but that might have been Danny's editing. I'm still terribly upset with myself.
Oh, I am.
And I can't share with you my audience, why. So if anyone wants to come talk to me,
It is so funny to
when
me.
Danny sent that clip, I laughed for like 10 minutes
and I
straight.
was just like, I don't remember doing that. I don't remember doing that. And then when Danny sent the full clip, I went,
it
Crap.
when I came across it.
was so funny.
First of all, I Darnell almost posted it without doing anything, and then I went back and listened to it again, and then I went,
thank you.
I went, oh, and so I isolated it, and now I have it as like a ringtone. It's really fun.
By the way,
I'm
just so
having a good
everyone
time
knows
with it.
where No, I'm not telling him that. The amount of editing that Danny had to do last week was about like
Unbelievable.
10 to 15 minutes of me
About
just
13 minutes
And
of
Danny
Josh,
only had how long?
like an hour.
an hour to get it posted.
I do want to point out that beep made it sound like I said something much worse.
I know, which I thought was really funny. It's the same thing that I did with Josh when I censored, put that huge
entire-
long censor. It's one of my favorite things to do is to make you guys
Make
seem
us-
like you are just the most vulgar creatures in the
which
world.
I just like to point out. What
I still have it.
I just want to point out that all the swear words that Jake and I know were probably learned from you.
I'm the only one who
And on
hasn't
that note-
sworn yet.
On the podcast.
Yes, you have.
That's true.
On the podcast?
I've never sworn on
Yes,
the podcast.
you have. You lying son of a...
Bye, all.
Hey, we didn't have our closing words.
Oh, closing words, Jake. Jake, closing words. Sorry, Jake. I forgot that we have some kind of process. isn't it?
gone.
All right, final
No,
words from
no.
Jake.
Bye, all. Click.
Danny's like,
Danny's
go
so
home.
done.
I am done with this. I'm
I'd
gonna go
just like
start
to point
editing
out,
this.
it's 9 o'clock.
It's it's bedtime.
Well, we did this to ourselves.
Final
never
words.
The brain is a beautiful instrument. I love the brain. And this just makes me want to study the brain more.
Final words, Josh.
I hate the brain. I think it's full of crap, and this is why I don't study it.
Final words from me. I'm indifferent about the brain. So I could study it. I might not. I don't even know.
Did anyone else notice that Josh had to include crap with the brain?
Diarrhea of all things.
Jokes.